Know this, the most powerful resonant ritual is listening to yourself. It's your intuition. And you're allowed to shift, to change, and begin again and again and again. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Hello, and welcome to Intuition Unlocked. It's Olivia here, and today we're diving into a topic that so many of you have probably heard about, maybe even tried, but often may feel like you're not doing it right, which is rituals. Now, when you hear the word ritual, you might think of morning routines, journaling practices, or even full moon ceremonies. And while all of those are rituals and are beautiful in their own ways, there is a truth underneath that I want to share, which is rituals do not have to be rigid, elaborate, or complicated to feel good and to be a part of your life. I think the most powerful rituals are often the ones that resonate, the ones that feel alive, nourishing, and supportive for you right now in this season of your life. So maybe that is a full moon circle or a morning routine. I know that some of those are my own, but I really want to demystify what a ritual is and how they can help you, because there is so much they can add to your life and they can be very simple. So in this episode, we are going to explore what a ritual is at its core and why intention is a heartbeat that makes it powerful, how to align rituals with the season of your life so they remain alive and supportive instead of becoming another to-do list, and why choosing even one consistent resonant ritual can anchor and ground you and open the door to deeper intuition and well-being. So if you've ever struggled to stick with rituals or felt like you're just going through the motions without the magic or are unsure where to start, this episode is going to help to reframe everything for you. So let's start with what a ritual really is. At its core, a ritual is not about the action so much itself. It's about the intention, presence, and energy you bring to it, as well as what you get out of it. So many things we do day to day can become rituals if that's what feels good for you. This could look like drinking your water throughout the day, or having a cup of tea can be a ritual if you pause, breathe, and say, "May this moment and this drink nourish and center me." You can light a candle and it can become a ritual if you set the intention while doing it that as this flame burns, may clarity and guidance flow into my day. So do you see the difference between just lighting the candle and letting it be? Maybe you have some joy around it or you're looking forward to the smell versus actually taking a moment to invite a connection to whatever it is you're doing and notice the energy, the feeling, and set a short intention and specify what you're hoping to get out of this exchange, but also just to bring and infuse whatever you're doing with that energy. That's where an intention, that clarification of your thought, of your feeling, of your emotion into whatever you're doing can start to really shift things. And where this will take you and why I think this is an opportunity to talk about this is because rituals are invitations to step out of the autopilot of life. It can bring you into a more sacred, connected presence. And these moments become like little tuning forks for yourself, your emotions, your soul, and well-being. Because every time you step into one, when you take a moment to be aware, be present, be intentional with what you are doing, it helps you recalibrate, helps you align yourself back with your own rhythm, your intuition, your higher self, and remember why we're here, why we have the opportunity to have joy, support, and all these things that are always under the surface, but we're not quite noticing. This is why rituals matter so deeply. They create moments of resonance. They help you hear the quiet whispers beneath the noise of daily life and connect you back into the rhythm, the flow, and the ultimate reality that we are each one small being in this vast universe. And there's so much here to witness, to learn, to connect to. And the most profound part of it all is rituals do not need to be complicated. They only need to be intentional. And by saying that, it doesn't remove the power. It doesn't remove the opportunity for them to be very impactful and profound. And at times, they can be complicated. The more intention, the more time you put into them can offer bigger energy, insight, and shifts for sure, but that doesn't always have to be the way you go about setting up your rituals. Today, I really want to focus on more of those day-to-day rituals that are going to empower, ground, and help you feel supported in your day-to-day life. And that part is so important because our day-to-day is constantly changing. Rituals are alive because you are alive. They are not static. They're meant to shift and evolve just as you do. So you move through cycles just like nature does. There are seasons of blossoming like spring when you feel expansive, outward, and expressive. And there are summer seasons of full energy and momentum. There are autumn seasons of letting go and winter seasons of rest, quiet, and turning inward. And all of those seasons, energetics, and aspects can be felt within you at any time. We don't have to be in one of those seasons to feel connected to really the essence of it, but we are affected by it when nature moves through seasons. But we, as unique individual beings, have our own seasons, such as myself, who is 6 months pregnant and going through my own season of building, of creation, of resting and nourishment to bring me into a more quiet and expansive portal of birth and postpartum. So the rituals I'm doing now to take care of myself are different than what I'm going to be doing once baby is here and I'm moving through that period. And I know that, and I'm okay with that, and I'm prepared to flow with that. And so if you look closely, you'll notice that you're in your own season, you're in your own space and time in life. And so what you are being asked to express might feel very different than what I'm being asked to express. And the rituals and routines that help each of us might be a bit different or the same. So you'll notice also that your intuition is going to whisper differently throughout each of the seasons. When you're more in the essence of a spring and summer feel, you may crave rituals that bring energy and expression to your life. This could look like lots of movement, music, being outdoors, and getting creative. Whereas if you're feeling like you're more in an autumn, winter expression, you may want rituals that are going to hold you, nourish, and ground you more, such as journaling, teas, baths, or simply breathing and being really just present. This is where the wisdom of you gets to really shine because you know where you are and what you're feeling. So you can recognize that what served you once may not serve you forever, and you can adapt. A ritual that felt like it was your core and lifeblood of life in one season may not feel right when you move into another. And that doesn't mean you failed or that you're no longer keeping up with your routines or you're letting yourself down. It actually just means you're ready for a change, that you're evolving, you're growing, that you need something different. You're ready for that. And that's the essence of living as a wise woman. It's pausing often to ask, to reflect, and go, does this still resonate? Does this still nourish me or lift me up? Or is it time to let it go? So just as the trees shed their leaves to make space for new growth, sometimes you too must release rituals that no longer serve you and make space for something that's more aligned to take root. So whether you've practiced rituals for years or you're just beginning, know this: the most powerful resonant ritual is listening to yourself. It's your intuition. And you're allowed to shift, to change, and begin again and again and again. And your intuition is going to be your best friend along the way. And with that, I want to share some key principles for resonant rituals. So when you're choosing rituals, deciding how to set them up, or really just wanting to understand more, what do you take into account when you're choosing and doing your rituals? Here are some principles I find that can be really helpful. The first is set clear intentions. Intention is the soul of ritual. Without it, ritual is just repetition and a routine. But with it, ritual becomes sacred medicine. You don't need elaborate words or long prayers. Intention can be as simple as whispering, "May I feel grounded," as you place your feet on the earth. When you bring intention in, even ordinary acts start to become portals into connection. So this is where you need to start. Have clear intentions, have clear thought, and align your feelings with that intention when you're doing them. Number 2 is to allow flow, not rigidity. Rituals are meant to support you, not chain you. So if you miss a day or you don't have the time here and there to make it happen, release the guilt. There's no need for perfection in this. That is not the point. The point here for you is to have a steady toolbox of different rituals that you can lean on when you have time and are capable of doing so. So that's where I love simple rituals. And this happens best when you have a moment of presence, when you can be here, take a second to be fully present and focused. But if you can't, then let that go. Know tomorrow is a new day and you can try again. I find that also some of the most powerful rituals are the spontaneous ones. Just taking a moment to pause and breathe while you're taking the trash outside and you look up and you see the clouds. Or humming a song that rises from your heart when you're doing the dishes. Or offering a gratitude into your food when you're cooking it for dinner. It can be so simple, but when you do that and in those examples, can you sense that shift that happens when you go from I'm just taking the trash out and going back in versus I took the trash out, let me look up, feel the expansion, feel myself here in this moment. Wow, I have somewhere for my trash to go and I'm taken care of. And now I get to go back into my beautiful home and be here and be safe, right? Like it just starts that spiral of thoughts that start to shift from, oh, this feels hard and these mundane things are not always fun, to I can still do those mundane things, but bring a sense of vibrancy, connection, and remembrance of the wonder and the awe and the miracle that is us being here and alive in each moment. So when you allow flow, when you allow little things like that to just come forward, you keep your rituals alive. It becomes less of a big to-do with all these fancy things around it and more of a simple day-to-day reminder to come back to yourselves, and it's achievable. Number 3 is to make room for evolution. So I talked about this a little bit already, but this is so important and I want to speak on it once more. We are beings of constant change and flow and evolution. That is core to being a human, being a soul. That's what we signed up for. And so you need to have a space and grace within yourself to allow yourself to experiment. Experiment with rituals, try new ones, let go of other ones, and to also know that things that fit you now are probably not going to fit you 6 months or a year from now. And that's okay. I think there's always maybe that one ritual or so that you will forever come back to time and time again that may always stick with you through your life. But this willingness to adjust, to make space, to allow new things to come in, to let yourself get curious and play and have fun with things you've never done is really where the magic happens and where you can feel supported no matter what. This is your toolbox. This is how you will always have an array of things that you can look at and go, okay, this one fits today. Okay, that one's going to fit tomorrow, and let yourself navigate the reality of an ever-changing life and being. The wisdom is not in clinging to one ritual forever. It's in listening, adjusting, and letting your rituals evolve with you. And let nature show you the way. You can use the seasons as a way to do certain rituals with each season to mark the big seasons, the transitions, the eclipses. We can look to the moon, the sun, the plants, the trees, the temperature. There's so much there that's showing us and mirroring to us that change is happening. And every one of those seasons and phases is so purposeful. So be where you're at, look to nature as a mirror, and enjoy the evolution, truthfully. Number 4 is choose one foundational ritual. While variety is so wonderful and that's core to being able to sustain rituals, there is a power in having one ritual that becomes your anchor. This will be your touchstone in your toolbox, something you can return to no matter what season you're in, how you're feeling. You know that this thing is going to be the salve for you. You don't have to overthink it. It's like your best friend. You know how to do it. You can easily touch in and connect with it. So identify what that means for you, because in your really busy days or your hardest moments, you're going to want to be able to lean on something that doesn't take too much effort, but still brings this ritual essence to your life. It does not have to be grand. It only needs to be consistent. So this one resonant ritual will become your compass and your steady ground whenever you need it. Number 5 is to drop expectations and invite magic. Rituals are not transactions. As much as I'm saying it's important to simplify and make them accessible, they are an act of intention and devotion. But they are not meant to guarantee a result. When you sit down to meditate and expect instant calm, or you're journaling to demand clarity, you're missing the point. Ritual is about showing up with presence, releasing expectations, and allowing the moment to be enough. That by setting that intention and giving this offering and connection and energetic exchange, that is enough. Because that at its core should soothe you, should bring some form of peace, nourishment, or feeling of support. And if you can do that and have that be your focus, I find that it's often in the moments where we then surrender the rest up is where that magic, synchronicity, and intuitive insight can find us more easily. So think of ritual as an offering, not a demand. Number 6 is cultivate sensory resonance in your rituals. Ritual really lives in the body as much as it does in the mind or spirit. Engaging your senses through smell, sound, touch, or sight allows the experience to deepen and really roots it into your nervous system. You can use scents such as incense or diffusion of oils. You can play a song that you hear and it opens your heart. You can wrap yourself up in a cozy blanket and sip warm tea, or you can place flowers on your desk that smell nice and have beautiful, vibrant color and lift your spirit. You might not think of these things as rituals, but they are. They're bringing you small sensory cues that signal to your body, I am entering a sacred space. And when your body feels safe and present, your intuition can flow more freely, and you can feel more anchored and confident in whatever you're going to do in the next moments after that. The last one I have to share with you is number 7, the power of shared ritual. While many rituals are often very personal, some of the most potent and transformative rituals come from being in a communal space. As humans and souls, we are wired for connection. We need groups, we need each other, and a sense of belonging. So when we practice rituals with others, it creates a resonance that can amplify the energy and the intention. Shared rituals can really remind you that you don't walk this path alone. Sometimes the ritual itself actually matters less than the togetherness it offers and can create, because it can remind us of the beauty and the possibility and the belonging that you have here in this time and space. So those are some core principles that you can think about, and hopefully they will inspire you as you are setting your own resonant rituals. And I want to share just a few of my own rituals that are resonating with me in this season of life as a mom and a mom-to-be and a creator and a businesswoman and all those things that we are. And I hope that this just inspires you or gives you an insight into one other human's world of what am I doing to take care of myself, to bring ritual into my day and live a life that's full, that I live a very normal, quote unquote, life, but I take the opportunity to make it very intuitive and supportive for my own being, because I see that that's the bridge that I really would love the world to get to, of how do we show up in this world as it is functioning and allow space for our intuitive voice, the connection that we have, and the reciprocity and the gratitude and reciprocity that comes when we start to live more intentionally and we bring that forward as the norm. Those are goals. Anyways, so some of my rituals are, I love to start my day with a high vibe. No matter my mood, I will make my best attempt to infuse my morning with things that I know make me feel good. So usually this looks like opening my back door when I come downstairs and standing on my porch in the sunshine. And then it looks like me putting on uplifting music or affirmations to listen to while I'm making breakfast and getting the day going. I also like to diffuse certain oils if that feels good to me that day. Could be orange or peppermint or a pine. And then the cherry on top for me is getting to share breakfast with my family. So maybe we're not always at the same table, but we have the time to be together in the morning, to visit with one another and eat together. And I think between all of those things, sometimes I just do one of them. Sometimes I do all of them. It really allows me the opportunity to shift my energy into a certain state before the rest of my day takes hold. My next one is nature connection and walking. So this for me would be my anchor ritual. Walking and being outside, which usually go hand in hand, has changed my life in a big way. So I walk 2 to 3 times a day, typically morning, midday, and after dinner walk around my neighborhood or elsewhere. And it's just not an exception. Something does not feel right if I don't walk. And on those walks, I'm not listening to anything. Usually I don't even bring my phone. I'm just present. I'm listening, I'm aware, and I'm enjoying the moment and offering myself time to decompress and be one with myself as well as with nature. Nature always brings me home no matter where I'm at. The next one is journaling at night. I used to keep it really simple and would aim for 1 page a day, but for the last few months, I have changed my routine and gotten a bit more intentional with why I'm writing and what I'm going to share as I'm writing. And I've shifted to doing 2 to 3 pages of free writing every night before bed. And I must say I notice a big difference. I've kept a journal, or I guess a diary way back when, since 5th grade. And I think it's a phenomenal practice and ritual as an empath where I can have this really sacred space of my own to release the noise of the day, for all my thoughts, ideas, worries, and inspirations to be captured. And my intention around journaling is that it clears space, clears emotions, and allows me a safe space to land and process and be one with myself. The next one is monthly smoke clearing. I don't know about you, but I can feel when my home needs a cleanse. Like things just feel stagnant, heavy. And so my go-to is I have a few small sage bundles and Palo Santo sticks. I will light the one that I'm called to and open the windows and even turn my Reiki on to get energy flowing. And I'll go through my house room to room to smoke clear it. This helps to shift and cleanse and bring fresh energy into the space. And this ritual is really around being an energetic reset for my space. And all my kids like to help me with this, so we will set an intention together around it, moving out anything heavy, old, or stuck, and ask it to bring in more levity, joy, and support. I also love to do this after any time we've all been really sick. So like in winter when we've been really closed up and we haven't had a lot of fresh air, on a day that's a little more sunny or, even just for a shorter time, I will still open those windows and use the smoke and energy to clear my space. The last one is a connection to spirit. As a human with a soul, this is an essential part of my ritual practices and has been for over a decade. Every day I let this be different, and some days I will not lie, I forget about it, but I always come back to it time and time again. Just a simple drop in and connection to myself, to my guides or spirit, or whatever that is. It brings me such peace, support, and trust in my life and being. So sometimes this looks like closing my eyes for a few moments and just feeling into myself. Or other times it's pulling oracle cards, which as a medium, I've really noticed past loved ones love when we use cards because they can get clear messages to us and they push energy through those cards. And I'm curious if any of you out there feel this way too, but just something as I was putting this together, I really reflected on and noticed. And I was like, they stick out really strongly when I use those cards. And then other times it's taking a moment to ask my guides a question and see what comes up. And if I have lots of time or I feel like I need to, I'll give myself a mini reading where I just drop in, I have a set amount of questions, and I see what energy is there to be read and what wants to come forward. So all of this keeps me attuned to the bigger picture, to this higher connection, and the solidity in myself that I'm safe, I'm okay, I'm supported no matter where I'm at. So these are some of my go-to rituals at this time, and I do not see them as check boxes. I really see them as touchstones in my days. They've shifted and evolved with me, and that's what keeps them resonant. So to close us out, let's do a quick circle back. Rituals are not about doing more. They're about doing what resonates, what feels alive, aligned, nourishing, and supportive in your season of life. And here are some key things to remember. A ritual is intention plus presence. Rituals evolve with the seasons of life and nature. If possible, anchor into one consistent ritual that you can return to time and time again. When doing rituals, it's important to release expectations and create room for that magic to enter. And rituals can become really fun when you engage your senses. And don't be afraid to share a ritual in community. Find your sisters, find your group, and be a part of something that calls to you. When you approach rituals in these ways, they stop being just routines and start being medicine for you. They become bridges back to yourself and back to your intuition and the truth that you are deeply connected to life itself in every moment. We just sometimes need a reminder, and rituals can play that role for you. If this episode resonated with you in any way, please make sure you are subscribed to Intuition Unlocked so you never miss out, and leave a review letting me know your favorite ritual. I'd love to hear what grounds and inspires you. Until next time, may your rituals be filled with resonance, wisdom, and ease, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.